All right, welcome back to The Big Picture. Joining us right now is Paul Kowinski with the Division of Liquor Control, and you are in charge of licensing.
Yes.
And the reason why we have him on today is because it's springtime, which means prom season for a lot of high schoolers is around the corner, and some high schoolers do choose to drink underage during prom season. So how is your agency, working to keep these teenagers safe this year?
Yeah, so within licensing and regulatory control within the state, there's a lot of sister agencies that partner together, but specifically for the Department of Commerce, Liquor Control, really trying to get that message out to be responsible both on the consumption side and underage. Really does have some consequences if they choose to partake in that. And most specifically for us with our permit holders, really just reminding them to be diligent and make sure they are not selling to underage individuals.
Yeah, what is your message to bars, restaurants, stores to help, prevent the sale to minors?
Yeah, absolutely. So under Ohio law, folks might not always understand there's really no requirement to check an ID. The issue is you cannot sell to an underage. So we do strongly encourage, however, those bars and permit holders to check the ID. Under Ohio law, it's at point of sale. So, having someone at the door check the ID, great idea, but really makes sense having that bartender trained, making sure they know how to look and spot those fake IDs to make sure that they prevent those sales from happening.
Right, because you've seen more and more places kind of implement we're just checking everybody now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you see the people be like, I'm 55 years old, and they're like, it's just a blanket policy.
I was at Lucky's at the grocery store, and they checked the ID. This woman was 102 buying
Wow.
wine. I know. It was crazy, but they were like, I have to check her ID.
And I'm sure for some of those restaurants and bars, it's probably just, to your point, a better policy to just flat check the ID. One other thing we've seen in the past too is you might have that person who's of age make the purchase. So I think it's also good for the bars and owners to make sure they're aware of who's in the bar and not that someone of age is making that purchase, handing it off to someone underage that's making that consumption in the bar as well.
What are some of the consequences these restaurants, establishments can face if they are caught selling alcohol to minors?
Yeah, so there's both criminal and what we call administrative violations that can happen. So we have kind of a court in the liquor regulation space that they can be cited to up to loss of permit, could be fines or suspension of their ability to sell. Certainly the person making that sale could have criminal liability. And then in some cases, sadly, if it goes further where an accident happens or loss of life as a result of those sales, they could face civil liability as well. So it's a serious thing, and the permit is an integral part to their business. And so for us, we just really want to remind them and encourage them that because it's such an important part of their business, it's not worth it to make that one sale for that dollar amount in lieu of potentially losing their license and impacting others' lives.
Right, and because, liquor licenses are pretty there's a number on them. So, that can just be pulled and that goes to somebody else. And it's like, your chance is gone.
Sure. Absolutely. Some bars and restaurants, that's critical to their sales and survival. So, treat it as such and make sure you're doing what you can to prevent it.
What kind of conversations should parents be having with their teenagers right now?
Yeah, we find that the studies show that having those open conversations about consumption and making sure you're having that dialogue and the impacts of it and those peer pressures are really important to have at a young age. So we think that, again, having those conversations are important about what the consequences are. In the moment, right, that peer pressure might seem like the cool thing to do, but like we know, right, that one bad choice can certainly have a lasting impact.
All right. Paul Kowinski with the Ohio Division of Liquor Control. Thank you for coming in
so
today.
much.
Thanks so much.
All right.